Joe Cardinale is a retired NYPD Lieutenant, Mercedes Colwin, Fox News legal analyst, and welcome to both of you. Joe, if they have the murderer in custody, why has this case been so difficult to solve?
Well, because, first of all, the evidence is slowly coming in, and they were stymied in the beginning of it. I believe the new police commissioner started the task force along with the Suffolk DA, Ray Tierney, and they put a lot of effort into this, and they kept everything close to the vest, which is the way to do it. A lot of tips came in. You have to sort through those tips, and the information comes in. You have to find out which information is bona fide. And the fact that they moved on this and made an arrest, I believe they have a very good suspect, and they have a very good case against this suspect.
Mercedes, I mean, this case has captured the imagination of a lot of people for a long time. We talked to a police officer today who said they never thought it would be solved. It looks like finally there is some resolution. What do you remember about this case over the years as it's been covered pretty exhaustively in all sorts of different mediums?
You know, a lot of the families came forward because these are all very young women, all in their 20s. The families came forward. They were very adamant about, don't forget our family members. Maybe they led a life that you felt should be judged, but really these are young women. They were hardworking women. These are women that should not be forgotten. And that was really the focus. I thought that was a very good, well, obviously that spoke volumes about the family's dedication to finding who the killers were. They were probably behind the scenes, pretty active, trying to help law enforcement to find that killer. And frankly, thankfully, they have the body. So there has to be so much DNA evidence that could link this suspect ultimately. Once this goes on, we'll see a lot more when we see the affidavit this afternoon. Apparently, the affidavit will be disclosed. We'll know a lot more of the details. But what's most frightening and pretty consistent with a lot of serial killers, they lead normal lives. These are individuals that walking amongst the community, sometimes very fruitful members of the community, hardworking individuals, yet they have this double life that could lead to, obviously, these horrors.
And Mercedes, right before we came on the air, we were asked a question here in the studio as to why serial killers stop killing at a certain date. Now, if all these deaths are linked to the same person with this DNA, that would raise the question in this case as well. How do you answer that when you study serial killers?
That's such a great question. Some of it is because there is obviously this need to kill, this impulse to kill, that might be satisfied over time. But as Dana said, this had such intense media attention. Presumably the killer realized that there's a lot of media attention, which means a lot of law enforcement attention. The families were very vocal that maybe he should stop so he won't be caught. He or she, we don't know. We believe that it's a he, but ultimately that's probably what stopped a lot of these murders, just the fact that he might be caught.
You know, however, Joe, if we go back to you, maybe he didn't stop. I mean, there are unsolved murders in Suffolk County.
Absolutely, and the fact that there's so many different bodies that were recovered along that strip by Gilgo Beach, you know, they had a baby, they had a male that was found over there. So, you know, it may have well been a dumping ground, just like we had in Brooklyn over in the Canarsie area. So it could very well be that. But I think Mercedes is correct when she says that the evidence is going to be coming in ways of DNA, and the way we have technology today, they can actually tie a lot of these cases together. And I think they were very methodical in doing revisiting the case the way they did this time. So I think you will see other cases possibly tie into this. And in answer to the other thing, why he stopped doing it, he is getting the attention because of the media attention that's been given to this because of the families and everything. So, you know, that probably stymied him for a little while. And now we're going to see what happens with putting all these cases together to tie it into this individual, or there may be individuals.
It is an extraordinary thing in modern media today when you can have podcasts, I should say, on crimes or Netflix documentaries, as I mentioned, that help investigators raise the attention for unsolved cases. And they take that information and they figure out in the end what the answer is. Joe, thank you. Mercedes, thanks to you. Appreciate the input. We'll see what we get a bit later today. All right.